I'm Jeremy Loffredo for Rebel News in New York City, and behind me is one of New York City's many water treatment facilities, and it's at their water treatment facilities that they add fluoride to the water. Right now, 73% of the people in the United States drink from a fluoridated water supply, but in the rest of the Western world, fluoridated water supplies are rare, with 98% of Europe choosing not to fluoridate. But some municipalities in the U.S. are pulling back the decades-long controversial practice of adding fluoride to the drinking water. The experts and scientists at the State College Borough Water Authority, the water authority for Penn State's main campus, one of the largest universities in the country, voted unanimously last week to stop fluoridating their water. The board voted 6-0 to stop injecting fluoride into the water supply. According to Jeffrey Kern, chairperson of the State College Borough Water Authority, the main points for the decision include a mounting body of scientific evidence that indicates fluoride is a neurotoxin, and ingested fluoride can be harmful to the brain and body, especially during early development. They also considered the fact that systemic and blanket fluoride application removes medical consent and freedom of choice. Board member Gary Peterson explained that our customers don't have freedom of choice. We're forcing our customers to drink fluoridated water. As a member of this authority, I don't think it's the role of our authority to medicate customers. Could it be true that our health authorities are adding something dangerous to the entire nation's water supply? Something that other countries choose not to add? Austria, Belgium, Finland, France, Germany, Hungary, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Northern Ireland, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, Scotland, Iceland, and Italy have all banned or restricted fluoridating drinking water. Are they following the science? Or is the U.S.? Here's some of the science. A U.S. National Institutes of Health study from 2017 found a clear association between fetal exposure to fluoride and lower IQ. A year later, another NIH-funded study found an increase in ADHD symptoms associated with in utero exposure to fluoride, meaning the more fluoride ingested by a pregnant mother, the more likely the baby is to have symptoms of ADHD. Over the next 2 years, 2 more U.S. government-funded studies found similar results. Both of these peer-reviewed studies linked fetal exposure to fluoridated water to lower IQs, with one of them concluding plainly that IQ scores were lower with higher levels of fluoride in tap water, and the other concluded just as straightforward that fluoride exposure during pregnancy was associated with lower IQ scores in children ages 3 to 4. In 2020, another U.S. government-funded study found that every 0.5 milligram increase in dietary fluoride intake during pregnancy is associated with a 3-point lower cognitive score in young boys. It concluded that, quote, higher fluoride intake from foods and beverages during pregnancy is associated with lower cognitive neurodevelopment in male offspring, and referred to the regular fluoride concentrations in water as, quote, neurotoxic. Taking all of this science into consideration, Linda Birnbaum, PhD, former director of the U.S.'s National Toxicology Program, or NTP, stressed in an op-ed the importance and need to avoid fluoride. She said given the weight of evidence that fluoride is toxic to the developing brain, it is time to protect pregnant women and their children and recommend that they reduce their fluoride intake. The year after, the U.S. National Toxicology Program, or NTP, released a systematic review of all published studies evaluating the potential neurotoxicity of fluoride and reported that, quote, fluoride is a cognitive developmental hazard to humans. While the studies are clear on the neurotoxic effects of fluoride and its effect on the IQs of our most vulnerable demographic, children, American officials, unlike their European counterparts, have no problem adding it to the drinking water. Fluoride proponents ignore this and explain that it's good for our dental health. But has the peer-reviewed science ever countered this? Yes. Fluorosis is a biomarker of toxicity from ingested fluoride. It's a permanent tooth defect causing unsightly discoloration, the weakening of enamel, and it results in increased dental decay. A 2015 review of the practice of fluoridation by the Cochrane Collaboration, which is recognized internationally as the benchmark for high-quality evidence-based reviews, found that, quote, there is significant association between dental fluorosis and water fluoride. According to a recent study from June 2021, published by the Journal of Ecotoxicology and Environmental Safety, found that the prevalence of dental fluorosis was around 70% of all U.S. children. But how can fluoride, which is officially added to the water for dental health, be damaging our teeth? Hydrofluorosilicate is the fluoride-based acid used by the authorities to fluoridate our water. According to the New Jersey Department of Health, it is corrosive, and contact can severely irritate and burn the skin. Consider this news segment out of Illinois, where the fluoride agent burnt through concrete.
A hazmat crews from all across our area responded to a chemical leak this afternoon in Rock Island. The chemical was so strong that it was burning through the concrete there. News 8's Christy Mergenthal has the latest.
It was just before 1 o'clock Thursday afternoon when hazmat crews were called to the Rock Island water treatment plant. for a chemical spill coming from this tanker truck. As plant employees evacuated, crews began suiting up, working quickly to stop the leak that had begun eating through concrete. The chemical hydrofluorosilic acid is used to add fluoride to the plant's water. Although it poses a burn risk to skin, those living nearby were in no immediate danger.
Where there's risk, there must always be choice. In recent years, this has become a rallying cry of the health freedom movement, aiming to draw attention to the dubious and sometimes harmful public health requirements and mandates that were forced onto people under the guise of coronavirus. The way in which tap water is treated with a chemical that the science clearly shows carries risk, it's the sacred right to choose if you want to be medicated or not that's missing. For Rebel News in New York City, where we experience heavy water fluoridation, I'm Jeremy Loffredo. If you don't think the corrupt WHO should be exercising its power over supposedly sovereign nations, go to nopandemiccreaty.com and sign our petition. That's No Pandemic Treaty.